It was good. Good to see Raji. Been a while, Raji. Gurvinder, Carlu, KB, what's up, man? So guys, today I'm just going to discuss a couple of topics, position sizing plus the Chinese names, right? But before we go over that, let's go over SPX. This is the 24-hour chart I have. SPX USD, which is off by $1-2 points only, which is not a big difference. But let's just go over the overnight move first. I'll put a 15-minute chart. So one level that we do have confirmed when we say pre-market and post-market is this 3960 zone, right? So in the morning, if there is a rip towards 3960 on SPX, let's in the morning, sometimes we get that rip, right? And we get this rip towards 3960. I think this is worth a scalp to the downside for a retest of this zone right here, which is 3940, all right? So from 3960 to 3940, that's 20 points on SPX. Even if you catch 15 points, that's a huge move on options if this works out, okay? So I would keep an eye on 3960. And also, me personally, I'm looking for a retest of this level right here. There's a lot of news coming in from Europe right now. I'm looking at this test right here, this zone right here that we had yesterday. This is the retest I'm looking at, which makes sense if we can test this zone around 3900. I think if we retest this and we hold and we go back above higher, that's healthy, right? Now these scenarios that I'm giving you guys are to the upside, all right? Now let's talk about downside as well. These are for upside. Now I'm going to show you something quickly here before I move on, right? One of my main reasons I took puts yesterday, right? Sachs also took it, and then yes, I have followed into the same ones. But let's go over SPX alone, and I'm going to put on these moving averages, which is 50 and the 200 MA, all right? Now when we had the rip up on SPX for a couple of years, right? From which lasted about 2020 April all the way towards what is it, August 30th, I think. So roughly around here. Every time this blue line, focus on the blue line, ignore everything else. This blue line is the 50 MA. All right, every time it got to 50 MA, people were getting bearish at these levels, but then the market just ripped. But then the market just kept ripping. What's happening here? I'm not saying the same downtrend is going to happen here again. None of that. Keeping it very simple. On SPX, basically, we're right here at the 50 MA. All right, we're right here at the 50 MA, and I think we might have a rejection, right? Right here, the first 50 MA touch since April, right? So May, June, July, this is the third month. So there are good chances that we get rejected from here. I think there are good chances. Everyone's bullish. First thing, everyone's bullish, everyone's bearish. I don't care about none of that. That's just all, to me, it doesn't, that's not any logic, right? Because people are bullish and bearish at the same time, right? But if we do reject this 50 MA today, we can actually have a full red day, right? We can have a full red day. And personally, I'm not looking for a big red day. I'm just looking for a 3900 test. That will give me enough profits on my puts if I get it and I take out. If I don't, I manage, I stop out, keep the losses small. All right. So keep an eye on this 50 MA. You can pull up any stock right now. You can literally pull up any stock. Apple, you'll see it. This is holding above 50 MA, which is good, right? Showing strength. Google right at the 50 MA. Meta is approaching 50 MA, I believe. META, right? Is approaching 50 MA, and Baba is right at the 50 MA. All right, the blue line. So this 50 MA I mentioned a few times in the chat. Let's see what happens. Now on China, the things I want to discuss. Daily, we are at the 50 MA. If we go on the weekly chart, now this is all thanks to Yash, right? I was talking to him last night, and he's focusing on China in a good way for long, obviously, right? Gug and Andrew was good, Gurish, right? So China, on the we are under these skinny lines are 8 and 21 EMA. They work great, as you guys can see the rejections. This is the weekly chart, and we're still getting rejected on the weekly, right? Personally, I'm just looking for a weekly test above 50 MA. We tested it once. Let's see if we can get above it. If we can, China is worth considering long. I'm just gonna wait for another few more weeks into maybe August, September, October. I might get my entry late. I might get my entry around here if I have to, 150, 160. I don't care. I'm okay buying things at a higher price because I'm playing options, right? But for equity, Baba, consider it. My only risk on China is the delisting issue and the topic that rises slowly. So what's the best thing you can do if you want to own China? If you want, you can open up an account. That's up to you. If you're a serious trader, you want to make some money, open up an account in Shanghai. All right, go look at their requirements, I guess, right? If you're really into Baba. At this level, fundamentally, I think Baba is one of the best buys, right? There's some research done by Blitzkrieg as well, but China also has some their own issues as well regarding real estate. There's a collapse going on there, whatever it may be. Does that affect the markets? Yes, Baba can see 60 again. That's 40% down. But I'm speaking of into 2025, 2026 long term. Short term, maybe Baba goes towards 60. I don't know. Maybe it goes much lower. I really don't know. Maybe it goes much lower. But in 2025, 26, I think Baba at least goes back to 300, 250. That's a big move on equity alone, right? So do look into China. I think it's the fundamentally they're well. Technically, yes, there could be 15, 20, 30% up and down short term. But if I was to buy Baba equity, I would consider opening up an account in China, honestly. Whatever your account allows, if they allow you to open an account. I think they might have their restrictions because we're foreigners, obviously. But it's something worth looking into. Baba has come down a lot, and Baba is definitely worth more today than it was back in 2017, 18. We're trading at like near all-time lows in this range. Right, so do keep an eye on Baba for long term. Not for I'm not talking call or puts here. I'm talking equity buy. All right, so I think it's worth considering. Baidu as well, but again, the only thing is delisting issues in North America. Only then these see much lower, right? So I'm speaking long term again, not for this year, not for next year. This is 2025, 26. So keep that in mind. So this is worth considering. Another thing I want to go over is position sizing, right? Apple is a short, goddamn, on the weekly. But anyways, I'll keep those comments to myself for now. Position sizing, right? If you're playing options, sometimes what happens is you guys, let's say I make a play, for example. Let's say I need a name. I don't know. Let's say Kobe Bryant makes a play. He makes a play, right? Kobe, legend all time. He makes a play. Let's say he buys Apple 155 calls, for example. Now, if you're gonna follow the same play just because he bought Apple 155 calls, what you guys need to understand is position sizing according to your account. You don't know his account. Maybe he has $10,000 and he's only buying 2 contracts, right? For example, at $1.50 each, let's say a total of $300 spent. But maybe you only have a $1,500 account and you also buy 2 contracts, right? Which is also $300. Understand one thing: for you to make $300 back from $1,500, if this goes to 0. Right, your play is much different than Kobe. He can maybe afford the loss on this. So your position size, you need to know the status of your account, right? What does it allow for you to purchase? All right, your buying power, right? Your buying power. You guys need to understand this. If you're scalping, fine. I understand sometimes people go in heavy compared to their accounts. But then make sure you're disciplined with your stop loss. If you sit there and hope, oh no, it'll come back up, you will get slapped, right? You're gonna get screwed up. So yesterday, for example, I had IWM play. I was in IWM puts, right? So let me share my play with you. Yesterday, my 2 red plays yesterday. I was in IWM puts right here at this level, and I clearly mentioned along with it. And this play I will take every single time. Every single time I will take it. Okay. It was simple for me. I bought it at 175.50. My puts, I believe. I was looking for a retest of 174. I did not get it. And 176 hold. I need to understand that's strength. That's strength. I simply, what did I do? As soon as it held for a few candles, I'm like, you know what? Market strong. It's hold. I stopped out. Right. I kept my losses. I think it was a 15 to 20% or 15% loss. I believe it's in the chat. I don't know. I think roughly around 15% loss. I can afford that on my position. I stopped out, right? Then I made a voice chat play on SPY. Again, it was a very good play. I'll take it any day. That too, I stopped. That was 15% at point. I know that I also stopped out for 15% loss. In total, let's say for example, I'm just gonna share my example. Let's say if I started with $100, right? I took $15 losses. I saved that $70 in my account. Red days happen. Red things happen, right? I'm very transparent about my days, if they're red, green, whatever it may be. All right, but in this market, if you're playing I was fighting the trend. I gotta stop out. I gotta respect the market that's going up. All right, many people have trouble respecting the market they hold in a hope that the market comes down, right? So sometimes when the market is strong, don't fight it, because on IWM, one thing weekly is worth the look, because if this breaks out and the strength is real, this has a long way to go, all the way to 185, 186, right? So now I will let it go, and let's see what happens tomorrow. I'll readjust. All right. So keep your losses small in this market if you're playing the different trend, and then let's see what happens. All right. So position sizing, there's another session that I have done in the past. Please do look at it. Canadian CPI came in pretty good. That I think that's pretty good. It's positive. And then we have news from ECB. Then we have the gas pipeline news with Nord Stream, all the stuff that's drama that's going on there. Today, let's see what happens here. Market is still holding well. This is a very healthy pullback. 3,900 will even be better right here. This zone right here. This will even be better from yesterday if we can retest this, right? And if we do, great. If we don't, then gotta take the upside, right? I gotta see. And let's see what happens. These are short-term moves. And one thing I will tell you, below 3,900, be careful. All right, be careful, because if the 50 MA is in place, so don't ignore that. All right, so don't ignore the 50 MA. If we hold above the 50 MA, then obviously we have more room to the upside. God bless. I'll see you guys back in the chat.